I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, degenerate sleuths of the night. We gather to boldly go where others have refused. Welcome to the DT show, you salty mofos.
A man accused of killing 4 college students is behind bars, and he has ties to northeastern and central Pennsylvania. State police say 28-year-old Brian Koberger was arrested this morning at a home in Chestnut Hill Township.
I can't find any case law that would support that idea. That somehow a warrant would be needed for DNA left at a crime scene.
We are expecting to learn more about the allegations against the girlfriend of a Boston police officer who was found unresponsive in the snow Saturday morning. I-Team sources say Karen Reed was in a relationship with John O'Keefe. She's facing charges including motor vehicle homicide and manslaughter.
So, the Commonwealth just provided the court with information that causes me grave concern. The implications of that information may have profound effects on this defense and defense counsel.
So, get your popcorn ready and your choice of drink. Get your butt on your seat. Like, comment, and subscribe for a treat. Here we go. It's time for the show. The Drunk Turkey Show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the DT show. I'm Daniel. Good to see everybody. It's been a couple of days. Sorry about the long. Sorry about that too. Sorry about the long delay. Been having had some family come into town this weekend. Did some other things, and so I'm back at it, back into the groove of things. And today we're going to be talking about a missing little girl who is missing out of California under very suspicious circumstances involving her mother. We're going to break down the evidence and the information that has come about it, and so much more. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. You guys know what to do. I appreciate everybody here. With that being said, thank you. Let's get into it. And so first, I kind of wanted to start off a little bit different. There's another missing persons case that's just recently happened as well. This one is very recent, and Laura had reached out to me on our via email and kind of told me about this. So I just kind of wanted to highlight a missing Jersey kid. A New Jersey teen vanishes after Halloween party near Charleston College. So it unfortunate, 19-year-old New Jersey college student. His name is Owen Tillman Kinney, a student out of the College of Charleston from Titan Falls, has been missing since Halloween. According to the South Carolina police and his word parents, he was last seen by his friends around 2 a.m., a block from campus. His family in a Facebook post said that he had gone to a Halloween party near wearing a Boston Celtics jersey, and he was walking home before he disappeared. Here's another image of him, not in the Halloween getup. And so if anybody's seen him, please contact local law enforcement. Kenny's parents describe him as 6'1" and 155 pounds with light brown hair, buzz cut, and blue eyes. He has tattoos on his right forearm, left shoulder, left shin, and knee. Red Bank Catholic said he is a member of the class of 2024. Anyone with information about Kenny's location is asked to call 843-720-2422. And so another image of him, of Owen Tillman Kinney. And that's what he was wearing the night of his disappearance. So if anybody's seen him, please contact your local law enforcement. Also, the phone number 843-720-2422. Hopefully he's found safe. I know it's been a few days, and so hopefully he's found okay. Alrighty, and so tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about a new case. We're going to be talking about a little girl who disappeared a couple of weeks ago as well, Melodee Buzzard, under very suspicious circumstances. I'm going to be covering a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a deep dive, going into it. Kind of talk about some of the new information that has been dropped and released by local law enforcement that are investigating the case. And also on Thursday, we have former FBI agent, Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, who's going to be joining the show. She's also been covering this case. We're going to pick her brain about, some of the things that law enforcement have done, haven't done, warrants that should already be in place, what we should expect out of them, etc. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. So without further ado, let's get into today's content. So this is Melodee Buzzard. Now, this is an older picture. There's not very many pictures of her recently. There's one that was released by law enforcement. This is with her mother, Ashlee Buzzard, at a rental car place, where they had rented a vehicle. This is just before her disappearance. And it appears that both of them, according to law enforcement, are wearing some sort of wigs. And so, it's kind of hard. This isn't the most, best picture in the world, most clearest one. But she does look significantly older than this picture. I mean, she looks like a very young girl. She looks like she's 5 here, compared to in this image. And some of the newest information is that she had rented a vehicle. They're obviously wearing wigs here, and the newest information is that a license plate has been switched. And so while she's on this trip with her daughter, so basically what had occurred was she goes on a trip with her daughter and around October 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, goes on a couple of different trips. And these trips are in this rental vehicle. And apparently on October 8th, the rental vehicle that had California license plates issued to it was seen on camera with New York license plates. And so we're going to break down that aspect of it too, what that means and what it could mean for this entire case. But, I don't want to get too far ahead, but yeah, this is them going in and getting a vehicle. Now, we're going to come back to this picture, but let's kind of break down a little bit about what is going on, what happened, and what's happened. So this is the latest news, and this is from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. It goes on to say Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office began investigating on October 14th, 2025, when a school administrator reported Melodee's prolonged absence. Deputies attempted to locate Melodee and her mother, Ashlee, at their residence in Lompoc, California, but they were only able to speak with Ashlee, who provided no verifiable explanation for Melodee's whereabouts. So no verifiable explanation. What does that mean to me? That means to me that she did provide some sort of explanation. This is kind of reminding me a little bit of like Casey Anthony, where she was saying that her daughter was somewhere and nobody could verify the information of where she said her daughter was, but they could not yet prove, because of the amount of cooperation that Casey Anthony was, she was cooperating to a certain extent, right? She was talking, but what she was saying wasn't very truthful. And so it wasn't cooperation. And this somewhat feels like that. Now, this is just my opinion. There's not been any charges or anything like that as of yet. And so just want to remind everyone about that. Rachel comes in with $9.99. P.S. I heard BK. Next day, YouTube breaking news. Stay solid. I heard BK. Next day, YouTube breaking news. I may need you to explain that to me. I'm not sure. And it's a Lompoc. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wasn't very sure. Let me know what you mean by this. You don't get it. No, I don't. Sorry. Let's see. So, no verifiable explanation for Melodee's whereabouts. So it sounds like she gave some sort of explanation. It also goes on to say that a search of the residence confirmed that Melodee was not there. So she wasn't saying that she was there either. And that Ashlee remained uncooperative and has not confirmed Melodee's location or welfare. So uncooperative, not confirmed Melodee's location. So she's being vague with whatever it is that she's saying. It sounds to me that it sounds something to the effect like, I know where she's at. She's okay, but she's not giving anything else further than that to law enforcement. That's kind of what I'm gathering from no verifiable explanation, and that she's uncooperative and not confirmed the location or welfare. There again, also the welfare aspect, maybe she's not saying that she's okay either. So she's just kind of saying, I know where she's at. And they're asking, well, if she's okay, and she's just not answering those questions. But she might just be saying, I know where she's at, and that's it. That's kind of the gist that I'm getting from what this first paragraph says. Goes on to say, through their investigation, detectives have confirmed that Ashlee left California with Melodee in a white 2024 Chevy Malibu, initially bearing California license plate 9MNG1001. I'm sorry, only 10 there, so it's 101. On October 7, 2025, detectives believe that Ashlee and Melodee traveled as far as Nebraska with a return trip that included Kansas. So they're going all over the place. Beginning October 8, 2025, the Malibu was observed with New York license plates HCG 9677. For those in law enforcement, Henry Charlie George 977. In the military, what is that? Hotel Charlie Golf 9677. So however you want to say it. It is unknown when the plate was installed or whether the additional plates were used at other times during travel. The New York plate was seen on the car, does not belong to the vehicle or to Ashlee. All right, so let's break this down a little bit here. So she makes one trip, goes back and forth somewhere, and they don't know when the New York plate was put on there or if it was used during these trips here. But it says here beginning October 8th is when it was observed. So I wonder if that means that these trips that were happening on October 7th, if that was with the California license plate, and then October 8th, New York license plate. I think that's important. Obviously, they were trying to disclose, their identity with the wigs and things of that nature. The license plates as well. That's an attempt to disclose. It is unknown when the plate was installed or whether additional plates were used at other times during travel. So they're open to the possibility that she may have used a different license plate other than these two. Interesting. Investigators believe it was used as a false or switch plate to avoid detection. When the vehicle was returned to the rental agency in Lompoc, I think I said that right, California, the assigned California plate was on the vehicle. Detectives now confirm Melodee was seen along the return route via video surveillance on October 9, 2025 in the region of Colorado and the Utah border. All right, this is big. This is huge information right here. Okay, so I know there's been a lot of debate whether or not there was if this was like some sort of trafficking event, right? And maybe she sold Melodee. I don't think. I think there's a possibility that happened, but I don't think that was. I don't think that was the intention of the trip. Now it could have been. It very well could have been, but so so the license plates changed the day before. You know, this kind of screams out like some sort of like she was moving something, you know, and then maybe something happened. You know, now this was on the return trip back, so they're already heading back home. She's seen on camera, so sometime between then something happens. Now, apparently, there's been a lot of reports from family members that Ashlee may have had some sort of mental health issues in the past. The biological father had passed away in a motorcycle accident, and after that occurred, Ashlee took off with Melodee, and didn't allow, I guess, his side of the family or many people actually to kind of just disappeared. And she hadn't had the kid, her kid in school for a while. Melodee hadn't gone to school, and that was the reason why they were contacting her and trying to get in touch with her, because she hadn't been attending. And so obviously there was some sort of premeditation of not necessarily with Melodee, but of some action that she went through, some sort of planning of something, the wigs, the license plates, the rental vehicle, the out of town trips. There's something there, obviously, right? Now, could this have been a situation where she's picking up and dropping off things for financial gain or whatnot, and she's taking her kid with her, and en route, the vehicle gets, they get stopped by somebody jacks them, and something happens with the kid, and she's afraid to say something. Maybe she got into an argument, with the little girl on the trip on the way home, and left her somewhere. That's a possibility as well. Another possibility could be, just kind of spitballing here, is maybe she did intend on trafficking her own daughter, and that was just a part of the plan. She was doing a bunch of different things for completely separate reasons. She was, maybe going out and delivering things, like I was saying, maybe perhaps, doing drops. And one of the drops was also, that was to get some money. She also traffics the kids so that she can take off, but I don't think she's taken off yet. So I don't know if that would, I'm not necessarily certain if that is plausible. You know what I'm saying? Too many moving parts, and she stayed back home. Now, what can law enforcement do, right? Law enforcement can, there's some warrants. They can do some searches. I'm curious as to why they haven't gotten any, history on the phone, location and stuff like that. I'm assuming they have, and we just don't know about it, right? I'm not sure how open California is when it comes to certain things. But this goes on to say, investigators believe that the Malibu traveled through the following areas around October 9, 2025, Grand River, Utah, another place, Pagnwich, Utah, Northwest Arizona, Prime, Nevada, Rancho Cucamonga, California. Detectives are seeking anyone who have made contact with Ashlee or Melodee at any point on October 9th, 10th, 2025, or have any video footage from their route of travel. So if anybody has like dash cam and stuff and you were in that area around that time and it hasn't recorded over, I mean, really important to go out there and save that stuff, just on the off chance. I mean, even if you don't think that there's something there, sometimes the lack of something is something, right? Like, for instance, if they have her, they got her phone traveling at a certain place, or they have her on camera at a certain spot at a certain time, and you're on the road at a certain time that coincides with it, and she's not on camera there, like a mile down the road or whatever the case may be. Let's just say you're going in the opposite direction and she had just been seen going in one direction. Well, that tells you she turned off somewhere, in between the time that you had your vehicle passed and her vehicle passed the gas station. If it's like that kind of surveillance that saw her vehicle passing, right? It's just a made up scenario. So even if you don't have anything on there, it's important to send that stuff in and to save that stuff, because sometimes a lack of evidence is evidence of something. You know what I'm saying? So if you're around those areas on October 9th or 10th, and you have like dash cam, I know that's become more popular. People are putting more dash cam footage into their vehicles and stuff like that in case there's a accident or a situation. Would probably be awesome to see if you have that. All right, so let's see. Investigators are sharing additional surveillance image of Ashlee and Melodee that were captured at a rental car location at the start of the road trip on October 7th, 2025. Both Ashlee and Melodee appear to be wearing wigs, with Melodee appearing darker and straighter than her natural hair. Melodee Buzzard is described as a 9-year-old female, approximately 4'6", 60 pounds, and brown curly hair with brown eyes. And you have the detectives line 805-681-4150. The anonymous tip line, if you want to stay anonymous, 805-681-4171. If you don't trust it and you want to tell me something, if you know something, you don't trust it, the anonymous tip line, you can email me, make up a, fake email, email me the information, and, give me something that makes it seem valid and tell me that you want me to turn it into the tip line. I'll do it for you. That way, if you truly want to stay that anonymous, I can do that for you. I've done that in other cases. Email is drunkturkeyshow@gmail.com. Anything to help find this little girl and make sure she's safe. Let's see. I'm just seeing a couple of comments. Just want to make sure nothing is towards me. Nothing yet. All right. So this is from the FBI, and they had a picture of Melodee. Here's, again, this seems like a very young picture. The FBI says here Melodee's appearance may have changed. She may be wearing wigs, and her hair may appear darker or straighter than her natural hair. Law enforcement authorities attempted to contact Melodee and her mother, Ashlee Buzzard, at their home. After a school administrator reported Melodee's prolonged absence from school on October 14, 2025. Melodee was not there, and no clear explanation was provided for her whereabouts. See, again, no clear explanation. It just kind of sounds like she was just telling them that she knows where she's at. The other document from Santa Barbara Police Department was kind of like indicating that she wasn't being very clear about her well-being either. So interesting. Detectives now confirmed that Melodee was last seen on the return route video, the video surveillance on October 9, 2025. So again, that kind of that makes me believe that whatever it is that she was doing, that made her want to be discreet about it. The wigs and the rental car and the license plate. She already accomplished whatever it is that she was doing. She was on the return home. And on the return home, Melodee is on camera. Now, again, she could have set up more than one thing, right? She could have taken care of all this other stuff, and then on the return home, set up another meet and trafficked her kid. Very plausible. You know, I'm not saying it's not possible. I would think once the warrants start coming in for well, she may have destroyed her phone and things like that already, right? If she still has her phone that she had at that time, I mean, that would be a big piece of information. You know what I mean? That would help out a lot. You know, her financial records as well. You know, looking into her bank statements. You know, her locations would help. Because, you know, the locations help. You know, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you know, if you get the financial records, if she's getting paid in cash and things like that, how is that going to help, right? Well, one, you get the financial records to and the locations to see where she's, you know, they've been at, and you get a pattern of things for one. And two, you know, if you start seeing, you know, with her locations that she's at places, and you can start pulling up surveillance in those places, and she's purchasing things, you know, living beyond her means, things of that nature. That would be interesting. Also, you know, if she purchased something, because sometimes when people are in panic, they're not thinking, you know what I mean? And so if something were to have occurred out there and she went to like a Home Depot and purchased some items using a card, or even if she went in there and her location flags are at Home Depot, you know, those are the things that you can pull off of the phone, right? You know, places she's visited, you know, things like that. And, you know, your phone will know if you've been to places, if you know, just because of your location and stuff. I mean, how many times have you visited somewhere and then you leave and then your phone says, I know mine does. It'll tell me, hey, you know, you want to leave a review for the place you just were at? Like, how do you know? You know what I'm saying? And so those things are in the phone that you can find. So, you know, if if they can get a hold of that information, that would be huge. That'd be huge. I'm just concerned, given the amount of time that's gone by. You know, if they haven't gotten a warrant for that and they haven't gotten that, I mean, there's a good possibility that phone don't exist no more. You don't switch out the license plates without having a plan. I agree. You know, the one thing that worried me about it, right, was that did that happen after the last time that Melodee was seen? Because if Melodee is seen and then the license plates happen and Melodee's never seen after that, that could be a very big red flag for something nefarious occurring. Obviously, right? But the license plate thing change happened the day before she's last seen again. So it makes me feel that it kind of doesn't eliminate the possibility of something nefarious happening, because again, it was on their return home. I do believe that there's a good possibility maybe they got into an argument, you know, maybe you know, mom had some sort of, and I don't know this, I don't know her mental health or her medical records, but if she had some sort of mental health episode on the road back and something happened, she left her somewhere, you know, that's all still very plausible and very much plausible still. Now, police did search their home not too long ago. Authorities in California searched the home of the missing 9-year-old girl Thursday and this was off of November 2nd. Melodee Buzzard's home was served with a warrant at their Vanderburg Village home. Authorities said the child's mother has been uncooperative in the investigation. So there was a warrant delivered onto the residence. Pretty crazy stuff. And here's kind of a little bit of a timeline of things. So October 7th, Ashlee left her residence in a white 2024 white Malibu, initially bearing California license plates. Surveillance image captured them at a rental car agency in their hometown, both appearing to be wearing wigs. On the 8th, Malibu was observed with New York license plates, which investigators believe was a false or switch plate used to avoid detection. Detectives believe the pair traveled as far as Nebraska before starting a return trip that included Kansas. On October 9th, Melodee was last seen on video surveillance in the region between Colorado and the Utah border. The Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department officially began its investigation after the school administrator reported Melodee's prolonged absence on October 14th. All right, so let me pull this up real quick. I wanted to bring this up. This is a map that they have brought out. So did they say that Melodee was last seen on video surveillance in the region between Colorado and the Utah border? This doesn't, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Colorado is, I guess it's like way up here by Green River, Utah is where they're talking about. Because Colorado is still a little bit further east. Like this map that they have out here where they have the vehicle going, I'm assuming that they have her in Green River, Utah. Now, the one thing I think everybody's going to be looking at is Las Vegas, right? Vegas has been known for some trafficking to have gone through there, through that city. It's a bigger city, and it's a lot of people traveling and things like that make it easy for some stuff like that to occur. So I can see how people are looking at Vegas and saying, hey, her return trip back was Vegas, and she didn't have her kid with her after that. There's no verifiable evidence that she had her child with her on, throughout these. I'm assuming that the what they have here are like traffic cameras and things like that, and they can't tell whether or not she's in the car or not. But go through Vegas, and then they go through Rancho Cucamonga. I wonder if that's. Let me see something real quick. I'm going to go from Las Vegas and I want to see if this is the direction that, that would be the fastest route. So going this direction from Las Vegas is the fastest route. So there's no. All right, let me check this out. Let me switch this around and let me. Green River, Utah. All right. So yeah, this entire route, if I would have put Green River, Utah to Lompoc or Lompoc, California, their hometown, this is the route that GPS gives you. So it's the fastest route. Yeah. So what that means is like, it's not like they were going out of their way. Like she was going out of her way to meet somebody. It would appear that this route here is just going straight home. Now, it doesn't mean she didn't plan or intend on meeting anywhere along this route, right? But it just kind of tells me, though, that if I had to take a guess, she was missing before here or around here. She just went straight home. Like that's how you go home. This exact route. But again, they could have gotten in an argument anywhere, and she could have just left her on the side of the road somewhere. That would have been horrific. Anything. I mean, right now everything sounds horrific. She's a 9-year-old little girl. Without her mom. Her dad is no longer with us. He passed away in a motorcycle accident. And so, whatever the situation she's in right now, it's got to be scary for her. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her. Put a couple of the stars in the comment section if you want to ask a couple of questions. If you have any comments or thoughts, please put a couple stars so that way I know that you're referring to me and not talking to somebody else in the live chat. Let's get a conversation going. What do you guys think is happening here? Let me know in the comment section. I'm actually going to move this over to the big screen over here to my right so I can see y'all better. So let me know what you guys think. I strongly suspect there's something fairly concerning, when it comes to the mom. There's a couple of other cases that I've covered. One of them is the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan out of Nova Scotia, Canada. And some, and I'll probably do a show tomorrow on the differences and similarities between the two. And, but, to me, there's a lot of differences here, as far as the behavior of the parent. In one case, you have the parents being completely cooperative, turning over their phones, turning over their bank statements, turning over their, doing a lie detector test and passing, doing whatever is asked of them without lowering up or anything like that. And then in this situation here, you have a mother who didn't even report her kids missing. It had to be reported through the school. You have somebody who is being uncooperative without, any type of verifiable answer to where Melodee is at, or her well-being, and, being very uncooperative, not turning over the phone, not being, letting anybody look at their financial records, those type of things. So I see two very different behaviors here. And in my opinion, there's some big red flags there with the mom. I mean, I'm sure everybody can see them from 10 miles away. It's not going to be very difficult to see them. But why she hasn't gotten arrested, I know that might be a question, like for, hey, there's so many other cases where, something happens and, they don't have a body or this or that. In this scenario, they went out there, they got the car, right? So there's probably no obvious sign of anything nefarious occurring in the car, or that, you would like there's probably no blood, no blood splatter, no blood droplets, no anything, right? Because I mean, if they found something with blood, I think that might expedite some things. You might be able to get warrants for her phone and other things outside of just like her. I'm surprised they haven't got a warrant for her phone if they haven't done so. I'd be more surprised if they haven't done that. But in this scenario, when you have somebody who's being uncooperative and not talking, which is their right, that's their constitutional right. They have the right to remain silent. They have a right to an attorney and things of that nature. It makes it a lot more difficult for law enforcement to obviously find evidence and things like that. Like in the Lily and Jack case, I'm more confident in them not being involved in something nefarious involving their kids because of the amount of cooperation that they've had. And usually when you have a scenario where you can't arrest the parent, it's because of the lack of the cooperation aspect. And so that's kind of what it boils down to here, is that she's been very uncooperative, and it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And, I think that's where they're at right now. Let's see. Why was she hiding her daughter? Interesting. So she did kind of, so I'm assuming so this could be taken in multiple ways, right? Because she was hiding her daughter in the sense where, she wasn't allowing other family members to, talk to her, talk to her daughter. She was completely isolating herself and her daughter, Ashlee, isolating herself and Melodee from other family members. And then there's also the aspect of, her wearing a wig and things like that at the rental place. And so why was she doing either one of those? It's a good question. I have no idea. Now, again, there's been some speculation out there, from family members that Ashlee may have been suffering from some sort of mental health stuff. I'm not a doctor. I'm not her doctor, obviously. So I don't know. I don't want to go in there and say that, yeah, that sounds right. I've never talked to Ashlee. I've never heard her do an interview or anything like that for anybody to say one way or another. But, family members and stuff like that are coming out with concern and things like that. There's probably some fire to that smoke. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Let's see. Hey, how's it going? Good evening. Did mom get a lawyer? I'm not familiar. I'm not sure. Does anyone know the mother's reason for she's not talking? She's not giving any reasons. I would want to know how long in advance, like, she made the arrangements for that rental vehicle. Was that something that she called the day before and said, "Hey, I want to pick up a rental vehicle. I'm going to have it for the next 4 or 5 days"? Or was this something that was planned out in advance that she was going to pick up this rental vehicle? I think that would also be a pretty big piece of evidence to kind of determine one way or another if, there's something like, I guess, more nefarious here. Or not. Not necessarily more nefarious, but how premeditated this plan or this trip was. How sick do you have to be to sell your own child if that's what she did? That would be pretty sick. There was a Facebook short or a YouTube short that I was watching the other day that my wife saw, and she was in shock and disbelief. I had seen it before, but there was this lady who was addicted to drugs. I think it was like crack, and she had sold her daughter to some dude for $200, and that guy would end up doing a lot of bad things, taking her life. And there's surveillance of him walking out, carrying her out of the apartment complex, and she's just, going along with him. And heartbreaking, to be honest with you. Very upsetting. But there are some sick people out there that do some sick stuff like that. And it's unfortunate. Why is it said that they went through Kansas? That was on the 8th. So she was taking a couple of different trips, going out and then coming back, going out and then coming back. Doing that, with a disguise and also changing license plates. Very interesting as to why or what, but, I'm sure law enforcement have a lot more information. This is just a very small amount that they're releasing to the public. They probably have more of an idea. I would venture to say 100% positive they have more of an idea of what's going on or more information that they've yet disclosed to the public. But they went through Kansas. I don't know why. But that was on the 8th. Their concern was on the 9th. And I'm assuming that, because they're talking about, they want to know if they've seen her since Green River and all these other places. I'm assuming that they have the video surveillance before Green River, Utah, or around Green River, Utah is probably where they, last see her, because that's where they started, that search. And it looks like she went directly straight home. That path was the path you would take for a direct drive home. It's not like she stopped somewhere else that you would say, all right, that stop looks out of place. She went a few miles this way or went a town over that she shouldn't have to get home. Nothing that sticks out of place from that route from there. Dogs Gang says, I have a bad feeling about the mama. I agree. Oh, yeah. Bubble says here, so the mom was seen ripping down posters of her daughter. I'm hoping she knows she's okay and let someone else look after her because she knows she's incapable. I mean, that's some wishful thinking. I hope that's the case too. But her ripping down posters, that's wild. I mean, it's her own daughter. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of conscious of guilt, so to speak. You know what I mean? Maybe perhaps setting in there. She knows something happened. She's possibly responsible for it. Doesn't want to see her daughter's face everywhere. Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? How long ago did he pass? Talking about the dad, I think he passed like right around when she was born. I think like in 2016, 2018, somewhere around there. Because I think she's 9. And yeah, I think I had read. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Because I know I had it somewhere. Let's see. I had it on one of these. It escapes me. Yeah, I don't see it, but I think she was fairly young. It may not have been 20. It may have been a lot. I think it may have been like 4 years ago, something like that. When did they go through Kansas? Kansas was on the 8th, so the day before. I'm gonna look this up because I know people are asking about her dad. Yeah. So yeah, it was 2016. So says here that his name was Rubiel Mesa. He died in a motorcycle crash in Santa Maria when she was about 6 months old. Oof, unfortunate. Unfortunate. So yeah, he passed away a while ago when she was 6 months old. But I have no idea what happened. I'm like, if I had to lean one way or another, I would say it sounds like, man, it sounds like something. I don't want to be Captain Obvious here, but it sounds like something happened on the road back. Mom knows a lot more than what she's saying, obviously. And I think she knows, she has some answers here. It sounds like something happened on the road back home. Now, maybe mom was transporting some stuff. Maybe Melodee got a hold of it and something else happened. I don't know. Now, they did, like I said, they have the car, so they would be able to find out quite a bit. If there was, blood, if there was, signs of things, like if they found like WD-40 sprayed around in a lot of different places, those type of things, you're probably thinking, all right, this is probably, or mustard stuff. Yeah. They probably had a load of something on here or going on, those type of things. So law enforcement probably knows a lot more than what they're saying. I get a lot of red flags here with mom. A lot of red flags with mom. Wow. Barbara Hall comes in saying, I saw YouTube where a lady was trying to sell her daughter on to an FBI agent. It was insane for $400. Yeah. Yeah. People are crazy. Do you think they have warrants for the relatives' devices to see if they were hiding anything? If the mom was in a domestic violence situation? The family members, I think, were isolated, or she isolated herself and Melodee from the family members, including her own, I believe. Not many people were talking to her. I think it was her own mother who had came out and said some stuff about her having some possible mental health issues. Why can't she be held for the missing child? I don't know. I know that CPS did a deal where they said, hey, you have to present her within 48 hours. I'm not familiar with, something like that with law enforcement. If they can do something like that, that's typically like a civil thing where a judge would most likely handle that and say, hey, you have X amount of time. And then there's like constables and sheriffs that would handle that aspect for those kind of things. So it was outside of the scope of what I did in law enforcement. I was a city cop, so it was a little bit different. I didn't handle any of those type of things. That probably would have been handled through constables or through the sheriff's department via judge order, a writ of some sort to produce the child. And so I don't know if they've done that. If they've not done that, why they haven't done that. That's a good question. I would hope they have, and I would hope there'd be some sort of consequence for not doing so, Let's see. Yes, mom did switch the license plate on the rental. She put a New York plate on it on the 8th. And there's a video of the little girl on the 9th. And so to me, I would have been like, man, there's something really nefarious happened if the last time that there's video of her on the 8th before the license plate and then the license plate changes happens afterwards. I'm like, ooh, that would be really really bad. Like that would be a really bad red flag to me. Not saying that there's not bad red flags. There is. There's really bad red flags across the board here. But her being on camera the next day on the return trip home kind of tells me, or makes me kind of lean towards something happened between Melodee and Ashlee on the road there. I don't know if they got an argument. I don't know if Melodee got into something. I don't know if there was an episode. Maybe Ashlee had some sort of mental health episode. I have no idea. It's not there, but I think something happened on the way home that may not be related to why she was changing the license plates and going on these trips. That's basically what I'm trying to say is I think something happened, but I don't know if it's related to her changing out the license plate and to why the trip was planned. It could be. I don't know, but return home after the license plate change, stuff like that, kind of leading me in the direction that there may have been something that happened unrelated to why the trip was planned. Meaning I'm not necessarily certain that she planned for somebody to come and pick up her kid. Now, could there have been like some sort of, I don't know. Again, this is just 100% speculation. If she was hired to do some sort of drop, the person that picks up the drop sees her and the kid and says, "Hey, I see this lady. I see her with the kid. I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna take the kid, and I'm gonna traffic the kid. Possibly make some calls, follows them, get something going. Follows them, and then on the return home, pulls them over and in some form or fashion forces them off the side of the road. And do you have a kidnapping, so to speak? Plausible. I think it's unlikely, but possible. I mean, maybe not unlikely. I think it's less likely than the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's still possible. Just less likely, in my opinion. Thank you. I appreciate that, Deanna. Is there other brothers and sisters or grandparents? I know that there's grandparents. I don't know if she has any siblings. I'm not familiar one way or the other. No cash rewards yet. The police did search her house and took evidence. That's good to know. Yeah, I just saw that was like, I think reported yesterday. As of Thursday, they did that. Who originally reported the daughter missing? That was I believe the school, because they hadn't seen her in a while. Do you think that she might be more useful out of jail, watching her every move? That's a possible tactic, right? Where you leave her out of jail. She's being uncooperative. If you bring her into jail, she's just going to remain uncooperative. Maybe perhaps you release some information, maybe release this map. Do you force her into going out there and retracing her steps, maybe going and checking something? That's a possible tactic. That's plausible. I can see that as a possibility in the short term, right? I don't think that would be something that would be prolonged. For instance, if we go about 8 weeks into this, and if we're about 8 weeks into it and they haven't done anything, it's not because they're still watching her move like that. I think there's a lack of evidence. And I mean, given the areas that she was driving in and things like that, and there's a lot of open area. There's a whole lot of open area, but they go through some very populated areas too. And so We'll see. But it's a plausible tactic. I just think it would probably be a 2 to maybe 4 month thing. I don't know if that would go longer than that. Why was she allowed to go home? Again, if she's saying something like, I know where she's at. I gave permission for her to be with somebody. She's her mom. She can do that. She can give anybody permission to take care of her kids. Now, if something happens, obviously, and you find out that the person that you gave her, and the way the law works is very reactive, not proactive. Something bad has to happen. You can't charge somebody for something they haven't done. And so, if she's saying that she's left her with somebody responsible, it's up to law enforcement to prove otherwise and to get the evidence to do that. Yeah, but I don't know why it's gone this long. I'm a little bit nervous about that. Yeah, she was taking down her daughter's missing posters. That is true. That's crazy. To me, kind of, if I had to take, I don't want to take a guess. I have a guess. And the posters kind of fall in line with that guess of like, it sounds like she, to me, if I had to take a guess, something happened, maybe something accidental, maybe something that happened out of an episode of some sort. And I think that there's a little bit of that consciousness of guilt there where she sees those posters in her daughter's face. I don't think she can handle it. If she's taking down the posters and things like that, I think there's like that says something. That says something to me. Hey, what's going on, Chloe? Good to see you. Good to see you too, Heather, and everybody else, all the mods that are in here. Thank you. Where does Melodee's last name Buzzard come from? I don't think either parent used the name Buzzard. Ashlee's last name was Buzzard. I don't know if that's like a name that she just recently changed to it or not, but Ashlee's name in the documents that I found were in the reports were Buzzard. There's some conflicting stuff about that. Gina comes in saying, did the school say when the last time she was at school? I think it was like August, maybe. I heard Jennifer Coffindaffer talking about they changed some laws, I think in August. So the law changing, I forget exactly what it was, but I think the parenting your child and whereabouts. Yeah. $907. All righty, guys. Well, if there's no other questions left, what I'm going to be doing is tomorrow I'm going to be talking about this case a little bit tomorrow more. I'm going to be talking about the Lily and Jack disappearance and kind of talk about both cases, the similarities, the differences, why I think one may have a nefarious, aspect to it and the other one not as much. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell if you haven't done so. Share the content. We want to get the information out to as many people as possible. Tomorrow I'll be talking about, again, Jack and Lily and Melodee. And then on Thursday, I have retired former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, who was brought up in the live chat. She's going to be on the show. We're going to be talking about Melodee Buzzard, and I'm going to try to get some of these answers for you guys. Ask those questions about the investigation, what we should expect out of the investigation, why there hasn't been an arrest. Is there some tactics that maybe law enforcement are utilizing, which is why her mom's still free? We'll be asking all those questions. Please hit the like button, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace out, y'all.